Good morning, students. Welcome to the class. I hope you have enjoyed your summer vacation and your summer camp. Yes, so today we will start, or you can say we will continue with chapter number 1 from economic, that is the story of village Palampur. The other name of this chapter you can say is the factors of production. So, I already have taken one lecture on this in which we have covered some of the topics, but as it's I think more than a month that we have gone through that video, so first this video will be a recap of all those, and then we will continue with the next one. So just a quick revision, we have started this book with a definition of economy. What is economy or economics? You will see that in simple layman language, it is the study how the society uses its limited resources. So economy tell us how society uses its limited resources. On the other hand, you can say that the branch of knowledge concerned with production we know it's in Hindi we call it utpadan, consumption we consume, and the transfer of wealth. So these constitutes the economics or economy. Now, why it is important for India and for us to read is because we have a very limited resource. In India, we have a very limited resource. Like we have second most populous nation in the world. We are second most populous nations with around 121 crore people living in India according to census 2011. Okay, which will show definitely around 135 to 140 crore when it comes to the next year census. So, but we are the second most populous country in the world, but we have only 2.4% land to sustain this population. So we have limited resources. This is how the economics work. We have to work, we have to use the resources in very efficiently manner, very judicially manner, so that we get a good, you can say, resources to everyone. So let's start the chapter number 1, that is story of village Palampur, that is factor of production. So in this chapter we have discussed about a hypothetical village called Palampur. Farming, you can say, was the main activity of Palampur. Yes, so it's a hypothetical village, means ये काल्पनिक village है. It is just created for your knowledge. Okay, that this is a village, but you can relate this with every uh, one of your village. You will relate that yes, you have some kind of facilities related to this Palampur village. So it's a hypothetical village. Farming is the main activity, but it doesn't mean that there are not other activities. There are some other activities like small scale manufacturings, dairy products, transports, which are carried, yes, carried in a very limited scale. So that carried in a very limited scale. So Palampur, it's a village which is well connected with roads, and Raiganj as a big village that is 3 kilometers from the Palampur. So Raiganj is one big village near to Palampur, around 3 kilometers. So you will see, you must be thinking why we are studying this story of a Palampur, because see, first of all, it will give you a knowledge about a general village in India. Okay, this is how a village system of India is today, and we also have a question at the end of this chapter which you have to answer while reading this all lines. Okay, so Raiganj is a big village near to the Palampur, and a all-weather road connects the Raiganj to the nearest town, which is Shahpur. So we have Shahpur and Raiganj. So Raiganj is a big village and Shahpur is a small town. Transport facilities is also available in Palampur in the form of bullock carts, tongas, buggy. Buggy, we know that it's a wooden cart drawn by the buffalo. Yes, in Punjabi we call it as gadda, balgadi, and all those. So loaded with jaggery. Jaggery is good. Okay, and other communities to motor vehicle, motorcycles, and jeeps, and tractors, and other truck. So this was the situation of Palampur village. Around 450 families belong to the several different castes live in this village. There are 450 families, out of which, yes, 80 scheduled caste or Dalit comprises the one third of the populations, and most of the houses of Dalits you will find in the corner of the village, and all the rich communities, caste, upper caste society, they have their homes near to the center of the village. So yes, you will see that this is one kind of discrimination which Dalits faces in our society. Most of the good thing about the Palampur is that most of the houses have the electricity connections. There are two primary schools and one high school in Palampur. So there is one primary health center which is run by government and one private dispensary to treat the sick in the village. So this was an overall picture of the hypothetical village called Palampur. You will see that this village have all the basic amenities, basic, you can say, facilities which can turn this village into a good village. It have all the facilities like schools, they have health facilities, they have schools, they have electricity, they have farming as the main activity, and still they have some other activities like small scale manufacturing, dairy, transports, and so on. So overall this was the picture for a Palampur. Now why we are reading this story? Because you have to relate this in this chapter when we discussed full chapter. So your chapter is basically taken with the example of Palampur. Palampur is mentioned as the village and all the data according to that is mentioned, but you can easily relate that with your village or nearby areas or with Indian population. Okay, so this was about the story of Palampur, about the village, and from here next big topic is, which we have learned, is the factor of productions. Okay, so next topic is factor of productions. So production, utpadan. When we are talking about utpadan, when we are talking about production, we need four requirements for the production. Without this four need, production cannot be possible, whether it is in the form of cultivation, whether it is form of manufacturing any equipment, whether it is in the form of manufacturing any bike, any motor vehicle, everything. Four main factors, four main requirements are land, second labor, third physical capital, four human capital. So all this are the factors of production. First is land. All the other natural resources such as water, forest, minerals all comes with the first factor, that is land. So I will just take you first about all the factors, then we will discuss these factors with the help of some examples. Okay, so first factor is land. We need land, we need water, we need forest and minerals for the production. Okay, we need land for the production, for cultivation, we need land to set up the factories, we need water to do the irrigation, we need water in the industries to make you see that a lot of water is used in textile industries, a lot of water is used in different industries. So land and all other resources are one of the major factors for the production. Second factor is called as labor. Second factor is labor, and when we are talking about labor, here you will find both educated as well as low skilled, means skilled as well as unskilled laborers. So unskilled laborers basically work manually, and all the uh, you will see that even if you have to do the cultivation, you need men, you need labor to do that work. So labor is very much important for the production. Third point is physical capital. When we are talking about physical capital, it is divided into two parts. One is fixed capital and the other is working capital. It is very much important, guys, please listen it carefully. Physical capital is divided into two parts: fixed capital and working capital. That means to run this system, to run the production, to start the production or to keep going with the production, we need certain tools, we need certain capitals, which can be in the form of machines, which can be in the form of tractors, which can be in the form of money. So all those will come under the physical capital. But this physical capital is again divided into two parts. First is fixed capital and second is working capital. So fixed capital, which remain fixed in making that production, which cannot be exhausted, which are not exhausted at the end of the production process. For example, working capitals are those capitals which got exhausted at the end of the production, जो एट लास्ट प्रोडक्शन ख़त्म होने पर एग्जॉस्ट हो जाते हैं या कन्वर्ट हो जाते हैं किसी और फॉर्म में. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वर्किंग कैपिटल, ऑल द रॉ मटेरियल फॉर टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, yarn is one of the raw material. So it will be converted into shirts, trousers, ultimately exhausted or converted into the next capital. So that is working capital. Money, we use money to buy raw materials, we used money to invest in the system, invest in the industries, invest in the business, invest in the agriculture farms. So all those comes under the working capital. We need money, we use money to buy pesticides, we used money to buy urea. All those comes under the working capital. But what is a fixed capital? Fixed capital means which we have bought, like tractors, machines, big machines, buildings, which will stay with us for longer period of time as compared to the working capitals. We need tractors, tractor to cultivate the land, but tractor is not exhausted after the harvesting. So tractor is a fixed capital, it is a fixed capital, the money which we have invested to start this production process. So all the tools, all the machineries, all the buildings, tractors, all combine, threshers, all combine, all this come under the fixed capital. Okay, so this is the difference between the fixed capital and the working capital. I hope it is clear to you. It's important. Next, and the main is called the human capital. What is human capital? When you combine land, labor, and physical capital, it is the men who will run that production. It is the knowledge. It is the knowledge which enhance the capability, the efficiency of human to run that production in a very good manners. That means when when you spend money in updating your data, updating your knowledge, in getting skills, that will all come under the human capital. You see that big companies like Toyota, big companies like Facebook, YouTube's, Tata Motors, what they do, they hire engineers, they hire different computer analysis, they hire different uh, you can say employers employees, and they provide training to them. They provide skill training, they provide them training, they provide them knowledge, so that in long term that human capital can ultimately turn that companies provide them more economic value. So investing in human capital, we will discuss that in detail in the second chapter of this book in more detail. But human capital means to invest in humans in so that they can become more knowledgeable, so that they can become more skillful, which ultimately help them to make some economic value, to earn good economic value at the last. So this was about the four factors of productions which are required. Now if I take an example of, suppose if I take an example of land for agriculture. Okay, if I take an example of land for agriculture we need land. Okay, we need water, we need some kind you can say land and water. So forest, we cut down basically forest to do the, to make clear the forest to cultivate that land. Okay, we need land for agriculture. Second, yes, we need labor in agriculture for sowing seeds, even for paddy. You can see now we need laborers for paddy cultivations. Physical capital, when we are discussing about physical capital, fixed capital example for agriculture, tractor. Tractor will come under the, yes, fixed capital. All the, you can say, machineries related to tractors, threshers, combine, all those are the fixed capital done by the agricultural farmers. Working capital, what is the working capital? Seeds. Seeds are the working capital. Seeds are the working capital. Okay. Urea. Urea is a working capital. Different kinds of fertilizers, pesticides, money. We need money to buy seeds. We need money to buy pesticides. We need money to everything. That will comes under the working capital. What is human capital in agriculture? So giving training to yourself, giving training to your laborers, making them more knowledgeable, more skillful, doing some degrees in agriculture so that you can become more skilled, you can perform organic agricultures. All those will come under the human capital. I hope it is clear to you what is human capital. Okay, now if I take an example of any company, we say that Hero motorcycle. Okay, Hero Motocorp. Okay, Hero motorcycle. If we are talking about Hero motorcycle, to set up a plant of Hero motorcycle, yes, we need land. Okay, there must be some painting and other things. We also need water, labors. Yes, we need labor to do all the mechanical as well as the skilled unskilled work in the system. What is the physical capital required to run a Hero motorcycle plant? Tools. We need tools. We need big machines which bend or which can turn the chassis, which can make chassis, which can make the steel, which can bend the steel to form the different patterns for the motorcycle. That all fixed machines, big tools, comes under the fixed capitals. Building the plant in which that motorcycle plant we run will come under the fixed capital. What is the working capital? What will be the working capital? So working capital, steel, iron is the working capital. Money is the working capital. That steel will be bent and molded into different forms to make a shape of Hero motorcycle. Okay, so all those steel will come under the money. All that investment will come under the working capital. At last, human capitals. All the management of Hero Motor Corps, all the management of engineers, management MBA guys who run this system, all those big players who provide, who will give a, you can say, who take the company and do all the sales activities, and they maintain how to become a big motorcycle number one empire in India, how to maintain that all comes under the human capitals. So investing in engineers, investing in all the employees of your companies in the form of trainings, providing them trainings, giving them free scholarships to educate them from good premium MBA institutions like IIM Ahmedabad, Lucknow, Bangalore, Kolkata, providing them that investing in your employees ultimately which will lead to your company's economic value, which will lead to your economic values of your companies. That is what is human capital. I hope it is clear to you. Today we have just discussed the two topics. We will continue with the third or with the next topic from tomorrow. Just go through your book, read till this. Okay, thank you so much.